In this tutorial, I will walk you through the basics of debugging your application in SEGGER Embedded Studio. I am using the HRS example, but when I try to build and flash the example to my development kit, it won't advertise. To find a reason for this, I will try to debug and find a solution. To start debugging, go to Debug and press Go. If you haven't built your example yet, you have to do this before debugging. Once it's finished, press the play button on top of your editor to start debugging. Now we should see our device starting to advertise, but mine does not. So let's reset the debug session by pressing the blue arrow on top of your editor and put a breakpoint in the error handler to stop the code there. To set the breakpoint, go to the Project Explorer, expand the Libraries folder, and open the AppError.c file. In the AppError file, put a breakpoint in the AppError handler. Now that we have our breakpoint, we can try to debug again by pressing the play button. Now we can see that it stopped at our breakpoint, and we can use the call stack to find out where the error is coming from. Here we can see that it went to the AppError handler after the BLE stack init. If we double click on the BLE stack init, we can see which AppErrorCheck function returned the error. This means that it is the function above that caused the error. In the call stack, we can see that it returned the error code 4. If we take a look at the documentation in the info center, we can see that error code 4 is the no memory error. We can also get the debug information in our Debug Terminal. To get the output in the Debug Terminal, we have to make sure that logging and RTT is enabled. To do this, stop the debug session by pressing the stop button on top of your editor, go to the SDK config file and open it with the CMSIS configuration wizard. Expand the NRF log and logging and make sure that the logging module is enabled and that RTT backend is enabled. Now save the changes and reload the file when you return to SEGGER Embedded Studio. Now let's try to debug again. Go to Debug and press Go and press Yes to rebuild. Once it's finished, we can remove the breakpoint in the AppError handler and press the play button to start debugging. From the Debug Terminal, we can see that we got the error code number 4, which is a no memory error. We can also see what file and line number the error was returned from. In the Debug Terminal, we can also get information about what the RAM start and the RAM size should be. To change this, we stop the debugger, go to our project settings, select the common configuration, go to linker, and open the section placement macros. Here we can see that the RAM size is correct, but that the 2 characters of the RAM start address should be changed to 58. So let's change this and save our changes. Now we can try to debug again and see if we get any errors. Go to Debug and press Go and press Yes to rebuild. Now, when we start debugging, we should see that the board starts to advertise. We also get the output in the Debug Terminal that the heart rate sensor example has started and is fast advertising. Another useful thing to know about debugging is how to use the register view. In the register view, you can read the values of the different registers. For example, if you want to read the register of the RTC0, open groups and make sure that RTC0 is enabled. Now let's try to put a breakpoint after the application timer's start function. Reset the debug session and press play. Now we can see it stopped at our breakpoint and we can read the value of the counter register of the RTC0. After hitting the breakpoint, press the play button to continue debugging. That was the basics of debugging in SEGGER Embedded Studio. Thanks for watching.